Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am doing part 2 of Jobs on Cruise Ships. I'm your cruise insider. I'm Simon. It is nice to see you all again. I apologize about the break in the video. As you may have seen at the beginning of the last video, I was a little bit unwell. I had hay fever and allergies and all kinds of stuff, and then in the middle of making the video, my headphones ran out. So now I'm going to put them back in again, and hopefully that will be better. And also because I've just been so crazy busy, you might notice I'm wearing a different outfit and I'm actually driving at the moment, because yeah, despite the fact that it's lockdown here, well, I say it's lockdown. We were never really officially locked down. We were advised to stay in if going out wasn't necessary, which is what we did. So as you may notice, I'm driving, but my eyes are on the road, as you can see. So I'm not being dangerous, but I am going to finish what I was saying beforehand, which was about the various different jobs, etc., that you could get on cruise ships. Now, I left last time just talking about food and beverage, about the bartenders and bar servers. Like I said, those can be pretty lucrative jobs, especially the dining room servers and assistant servers. So because of the basic salary and the tips, and so I was just moving on to the bartenders and bar servers. Now I hesitate to say how much you make nowadays as a basic salary. Like I said, when I started, I was with Royal Caribbean and I was bartending, and I can tell you from there, in the case of Royal Caribbean, that the way it worked was I got a basic salary, and I know this doesn't sound a lot, but I got a basic salary of $750 a month, US dollars a month. Now obviously that's tax-free, and we don't pay for accommodation or food, which is great. And also, this was in 2000 and 2002, I think. So it was a long time ago. Also, it was almost 20 years ago. But with the gratuities, etc., that we would make, I would very rarely get less than 2,000 US dollars a month in my paycheck. And you know what? In the year 2002, as a bartender, when I had I was being paid in US dollars, I didn't pay any tax, I didn't pay for any food and accommodation, I wasn't married, blah blah blah. Like it was just spending money, basically. So that wasn't too bad. Now, what it is nowadays, I couldn't tell you. I honestly, I don't know. But fair to say that you still probably get a very mediocre or very modest basic salary, and then you would obviously get your gratuities on top of that, which would top up your income. So that is food and beverage. Now we have the housekeeping department. Now the housekeeping department, they do all of your cabins. So again, the people who leave the nice little towel animals on your bed with the mint, etc., etc., that is housekeeping. For me, I would say, not the most fun of jobs, because you don't really get much contact with the guests. I mean, yes, obviously you see them kind of passing in the corridors, and you would say hello, but that's about it. So it's not you're pretty much on your own doing that job. And again, the pay scale there, you are entitled to gratuities, tips. But again, nowadays, because everybody prepays their gratuities, yes, you can. Guests can leave additional gratuities on top, but essentially you have a basic salary and gratuities, and it's a very kind of on your own type of job. As I said, I think I mentioned facilities before, which is kind of like light maintenance and repair of light bulbs and changing of light bulbs and light repairs in the guest areas, etc. And what else is there? There's the laundry, and now I honestly don't know. I'm assuming they come under the housekeeping department, but I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, we've got a huge laundries on the cruise ships, where they do all the tablecloths, all the napkins, all the sheets, pillowcases, required for the cabins and whatever, and they're all done on giant machines below decks, and they obviously the people that the crew members that work in there, I'm pretty sure they come under the housekeeping department, but again, don't quote me on that. Like I said, my area of expertise or knowledge on the ship really comes down to food and beverage, and entertainment, as that's what I used to do. Everything else, I do know quite a bit about everything, but I don't know everything about everything, if that makes sense. So if I'm wrong, I apologize. Like I said, I don't know everything about everything. So those are the kind of main departments, as it were. Now, if you have if you have experience in broadcast, i.e. the use of video camera, video editing, or whatever, most ships, again, and especially on Royal Caribbean, have dedicated broadcast team, technician. They'll do video editing, they'll go around, they'll film events on the ship, and they'll put DVDs together that the customers, the guests can buy. So they'll go around with giant cameras and they'll film stuff, everything from the belly flop contest to the love and marriage game to stuff like that, and then they'll do combined DVD, etc. So if that's your niche area, then that job as well is available to you. Now, obviously, everything on the ship is very computerized as well, from from the navigation systems through to Wi-Fi, etc. So they do have a lot of IT techs on board. So if IT is your thing, you can get a job on a cruise ship with IT experience. Some ships will have dedicated librarians, for example, although that's seemed to be part of the cost cutting that's going down now, and is generally taken care of by the cruise department, again, certainly on Royal Caribbean. But you can do that. There are certain cruise lines and certain ships that will have people that will teach courses, like they'll teach how to use Word, how to use Instagram, social media, blah blah blah. So there'll be like an IT person that will do that, but like more of a social media, teaching people who don't know, just putting on classes, as it were, to do that. So that's also something you can look into. Now, we kind of come to, I guess you could call them subcontractors. See, most of these jobs I've described so far are jobs that you are a paid employee or a paid contractor of the cruise line itself, meaning that, for example, Royal Caribbean, Princess, Holland America, Disney, they will hire you via an intermediary, i.e. an agent, or they'll hire you directly, and I'll get into that a little bit later on. But there are some companies like the spa on board, like the shops on board, like the art auctioneers on board, the port and shopping guides on board. These are not direct hires from the cruise line. So if you work, like, you will work on the cruise ship and you will get paid via the cruise line's purser on board, but you will not actually work, like you won't be a Royal Caribbean employee, you won't be a Carnival employee, you won't be a Princess employee, if that makes sense. You will be, basically the way it works, the cruise line in the shops, for example, and there's two main companies, and I cannot honestly, and I should have looked this up, obviously I can't right now because I'm driving, but there's pretty much two main companies, external companies that provide the shops on board. It's gone from my head, I can't remember, but okay, so you will be hired, for example, if you're a shop assistant selling, I don't know, jewelry or duty free or whatever it may be, you will be hired by that external company. So say it's ABC Retail, for example. You'll be hired by ABC Retail, and then you'll be sent onto the ship. And like I said, you will get paid, normally you will get paid via the ship's purser, but you won't be a ship employee, if that makes sense. Same with the spa. The biggest spa company around, and the one that's on most of the cruise ships, is called Steiner. So again, it's based in London, I believe. So basically, if you were doing a hair, like a hairdresser, you're a massage therapist, you did acupuncture, etc., etc., you would be hired by Steiner, for example. Now, Steiner's not the only company, but it is the biggest one. So you'd be hired by Steiner, and then you would be sent onto the ship. And similar to the shoppies, we call them, you would get paid on board via the cruise line, but you wouldn't be hired by the cruise line, if that makes sense. And that also goes for the port and shopping guide. The port and shopping guide is kind of specialized, and again, there's a couple of companies that does it. But basically, you, as a port and shopping guide, you are the one that goes out to, you recommend to people the shops on shore that the cruise lines have a special relationship with, or the cruise line recommends. And you will do, you'll give away the free trinkets and whatever, and you'll do the shows beforehand, like, hey, we're going to Cozumel, these are the shops, and there's a lot of them are the same shops no matter what port you go to, like Diamonds International or Emerald International, or the changing color tea shops. I can't remember what they're called, t-shirt shops, but that's your job, and there's only one of them on per ship, and you were hired by a separate company. Sorry, I'm driving here, so I'm just trying to, if I pause, I'm not ignoring you, I'm just obviously concentrating on the road, which is a good thing. And then the art as well. You could be an art auctioneer or an assistant art auctioneer. Now that, again, there's normally just one art auctioneer on board with possibly an assistant. And again, that is done via a separate company. So again, I do believe Royal Caribbean for a while tried to do it by themselves, but I don't think they do that anymore. The main art company, oh Lord, my mind's gone blank. Well, there's one main kind of art company. They went through a little bit of trouble a while back, or maybe it was just getting stale. I won't really go into it, but basically they some of the cruise lines kicked them off the ships, or decided to change vendor or what have you, so they left, and now apparently they're back on some ships, and some ships are not. Anyway, my point is that they're a separate company. So again, you would be hired by the art company, and then they would designate you a particular ship. Now, that being the case, it also means that you don't necessarily, like, for example, say you worked for Steiner, they could send you to Carnival. They could send you to Royal Caribbean. They could send you to Princess. They could send you to Holland America. They could send you to Cunard. Wherever Steiner are. So if you're employed, for example, by Royal Caribbean, obviously the only cruise ships you will work on will be Royal Caribbean, unless for some reason you ask to be or you get transferred to one of Royal Caribbean's sister companies like Celebrity or Pullmantur or Silver Sea, which is possible, but it's also very rare. If you work for Royal Caribbean, you work for Royal Caribbean. If you work for Celebrity, you work for Celebrity, even though it's the same. Royal Caribbean is the umbrella company of all of them. So, but yeah, if you work for Steiner, you could go to any of those companies. There's no, there's no loyalty, as it were. Not loyalty, because you work for Steiner, right? You don't work for the particular cruise company. So those are the jobs. Now again, I don't want to go into the pay because honestly it varies. Most I know with the art, a lot of it is mainly commission based. Some of the companies now are doing base plus commission depending on target, target achieved, etc. I don't know about the port and shopping guides. Again, a lot of it is negotiable as well. When I was art auctioneer, they offered me one thing and I negotiated something else. So I won't get into what that was, but you can negotiate. It depends on how much they value what you bring for them. If they value you or think you're bringing something extra, then you can negotiate something extra. Park West, that was the biggest the art company that I was trying to think of that I couldn't think of. So Park West. So but a lot of those sales jobs. Now obviously if you work in the spa, a lot of the positions are commission based. So if you sell a lot of massages, or if you're a massage therapist obviously, or if you're a hairdresser, or you're an acupuncturist, or whatever it is that you do, that's your specialty, your little kind of department within the department. So for example, if you sell 100 massages at $150 a pop, then your target may only have been 50, and you'll get X amount of commission on top of that. So you can make a lot of money doing it, but you're not on a fixed salary. I don't know honestly for the shops if that is the case or not. I honestly don't know. I'll have to check on that. But I would, given that any of these things which are sales based are probably at least some form of commission involved. So that is a lot of the jobs. I'm just trying to rack my brain because I don't have my notes in front of me. I wanted to finish this video before I posted it. Like I said, this is part 2 of the jobs on cruise ships. This is part 2. Obviously, like I said before, I can't answer too much on the deck and engine area, the marine side, because I don't know. I mean, obviously there are officer jobs, first officer, second officer, staff captain, security, safety. There are a lot of security guards on board ships. So that's another area you could go into. The reason I do this is because I was surprised when I first went on board. I had no idea the amount of jobs that were available, or what you could be qualified to do. Of regular stuff that you're qualified on land to do, maybe, that you could actually do on the computer. On the cruise ships, like computers and there's, depending on what ship you're on. Again, I can only speak for this for Royal Caribbean, but they have Olympic medal winning ice skaters on board because they have ice rinks on board. They have Olympic medal winning divers on board because they have a dive show on some of their bigger ships, on the Oasis class ships. They have a big dive platform and water show at the back. They do specialty, they do require specialty performers, like people who can work with silks, dancers who can work with silks, for example, etc. Never knew any of that. So depending on the ships, I mean, there's henna tattoo artists on some Royal Caribbean ships. I know on some Carnival ships, I don't think they do it anymore, but they used to have break dancers, for example. So there are lots and lots of jobs available. Please, in the comments below, if there's anything specific you want to know about, or any contracts, or how much you get, or how contract lengths, or whatever it is you might want to know more about, please ask me. Did that just die again? I think my headset just died again. So anyway, yes, if you haven't already, like and subscribe the video, and I will speak to you all soon. Have a wonderful day and stay safe.